Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Spoilers, the Review Show. I am one of your reviewers, Gavin, and I'm here with one of our other reviewers, Patty.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. All right, so today we're going to be tackling Fruitvale Station. Now, I knew nothing about this movie, but as we hit all the reviews circuits, we keep running into the same type of people. And for weeks, all I could talk about was Fruitvale Station, how I couldn't wait to get to the screening of it. It was going to be so awesome, and I had no idea what it was. And then
Yes, my fault.
Patty
I called.
We've got to go see this movie. So, in a nutshell, this movie is about a kid who gets, it's at the last day of his life before he gets shot by a cop and dies. I really don't know where to start with this movie, so let's just start with the good, all right? It was well written.
It had some nice points. Some points didn't make a lot of sense in the movie. I think they took a lot of poetic justice.
They took
because
way too much poetic justice.
You go, how could that have happened? And it
And see,
just
it's one of
didn't
those
make a lot
things
of
like,
sense.
what was that other movie where they had the giant wave, the Great Storm or whatever? Who was there to see everybody die?
Yeah, right.
Nobody was with this dude on his
Perfect
last
Storm.
day, the perfect storm. So no one really knew what happened, and they did take quite a bit of liberties with it, which we'll get to in a second. But I did also think it had a great cast. All of the actors in that movie were really, really good.
Very well cast.
But then we get to all the bad things. Like, I'm tired of movies that use that moving camera shot. Like, hey, we're carrying a camera. It's jerky, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in every single thing. This movie could have been a lot better if it had steady shots.
It had a lot of that, but there was one shot with him and the little girl running, and
Yeah.
they did a slow motion, and I thought that was a great shot. So they did have some emotional shots, but a lot of it was the hand cam, the Blair Witch Project type of filming that is a little bit hard to watch, especially the subway.
Yeah, they did a lot of
We could've
extended
gone-
subway
I think
shots.
we went to New York City and more, and are back on that subway. It
Yeah, just
went on
watching
forever.
subways. It was sad. It's like they had 60 minutes of film, but they needed to fill it 30 minutes. So let's just take these extended shots of subways driving down the track, or into a tunnel. I mean, it was just like there was no point to it. It was just wasted space. Honestly, it didn't do it. It didn't build up tension. It didn't do anything like that. And of course, for me, and you guys can hate me all you want, but it's the honest truth. This movie was very skewed. We touched on it earlier. They took a lot of license to it to portray this drug dealer slash convict slash not really nice guy to be like the perfect person. He's like the perfect dad, and he's getting his life on track. And like, there's a point where
he's the victim.
Yeah, and he's the victim. And like, there's a point where he had a cellar for all these drugs, and he needed money. Well, he threw all the drugs into the ocean. No one was really there.
Not gonna happen.
And then it ends with the cops shooting him, and they're like, "Oh, down with the cops! They shot him on purpose." When in honesty, it was an accident. Granted, it was a very tragic accident, but it was an accident nonetheless. And the job did its whole purpose of making you feel one way when at the end, they normally show you this is what happened. Well, the cop got like 2 years for involuntary manslaughter and only served like 6 months or something. Everyone in the theater goes, "Oh, that's just not right." And we're just
they didn't
like,
get the whole story.
There's
They
no
didn't
whole
get
story.
The whole story at all.
And then they ended it with the lone shot of his actual daughter and pulling that heartstrings. And you're like, oh, look, she doesn't have her drug dealing criminal daddy anymore. Well, he also had a girlfriend slash baby mama wife. He had a mom and a dad and friends. He didn't show any of them. They just focused on the
mother
girl.
actress. The actress
Yes.
that played the mother was one of my favorite actresses. I can't remember her name, but she's been in several things and just
She
really is
she
a
was in The
wonderful
Help,
actress.
wasn't she?
Maybe, I don't remember, but what a fantastic actress.
Absolutely
she
great
is.
cast.
Yeah.
Horrible choice of a movie. This should have been
Just
a
about
documentary.
carried the movie herself, really.
Yeah, and the guy who played the main role, I think he was in Chronicle.
He was good. He was
really
very,
good.
very good.
But yes, this should have been a documentary that would have
Should have been a
explored
documentary.
the whole story instead of let's do a feel-good story on this guy and turn it into a political cause, which I don't think is what they should have done.
And there was a couple of points that I just didn't sit well with me. The first one is when the young girl is in the grocery store and he's trying to get his job back because he, did all kinds of things wrong, got fired from his job. He's trying to get his job back. There's a young girl there who wants to make dinner for her boyfriend and doesn't know how to fry the catfish.
Oh, my
He comes to the rescue and calls Grandma. Get that catfish recipe. I mean, come on. on, give me a break.
See,
you know.
this is them going to the extremes. Oh, what a good guy this man is.
And how dumb everybody else is. But the one point I thought they did do fairly well, and again, I have to give credit to the actor, the bad cop. That real first bald head.
Yeah, the one that looked like he belonged in the KKK.
Well, that one. But, he was so mean and so but then when the guy got shot, he was right there.
Yeah.
Brother, help, stay with me. Stay with me. Don't go now. Don't close your eyes. And I thought that's an interesting way to portray that. And it was probably more the actor than it was the writing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they would have written that way. But I thought the actor pulled that off just marvelous. But what they didn't show was how much all of this confusion was going around them. I mean, it was like 4 or 5 of them that were and the cops would say, sit down, and they would just keep on and keep on. I mean, if you learn anything, it's sit down and shut up when the cop tells you to.
Not let's create total chaos, which is what they were doing.
And the younger cop, the more inexperienced, was scared just as well. Instead of pulling the taser, pulled a gun, and it was a very sorrowful, tragic accident. But
tragic
it was an
movie.
accident.
But I really do think documentary should have been How They Go.
Documentary would have been better.
As a movie, I would give it a 3 out of 5 simply because it did have some really good points and it was fun to watch, but I left with kind of a sour taste in my mouth of, this is one of those political agenda movies.
I'll give it 2 for the 2 actors.
One star per actor?
1 star per actor. I think the actors pulled it off.
They really did.
Because I think the writing was not that tight. It was pretty loose and.
Well, the whole movie was just pretty loose.
Lots
of liberties in this movie. So that's a review of Fruitvale Station. We'll see you guys next time right here on Spoilers, the Review Show.